Thank you very much. I'm very grateful for the invitation and for the chance to participate in such high-profile event. And to see old friends like Professor David Warren and Mohammed. In my 15 minutes of talk, I will try to bring up the most common and important denominations caused by aquatic animals. Remembering that there are many of them, and we would need much more time to comment on all of them. This graph shows the distribution of envenomation and traumas caused by marine animals during 18 months of follow-up of baiters of coastal São Paulo state in Brazil. Note, please, the peak of the envenomations in the summer months. Nigerians. I will speak about a part of the venomous animals. And Nigerians are very important. They are jelly-like organisms that have 4 classes of medical interest. The hydrozoa, the Portuguese man of war, and fire corals, the anthozoa, anemones and true corals, the scyphozoa, or true jellyfish, and the cubozoa, the box jellyfish, which are the Nigerians class most associated with human severe envenomations and deaths. The different cells, or cnidocytes, present venomous organelles, the nematocysts, which fight in contact with the victim by pressure, contact, or por osmosis. The venom is composed of toxic immunogenic polypeptides and provokes dermatonecrosis with intense pain for alterations in membranes. Clinically, you can see linear and rounded plaques, erythema, edema, blisters, and ulcers. And grit inoculations can cause cardiotoxicity and by direct myotoxicity in smooth striated muscle, causing myalgia, cardioarrhythmia, secondary respiratory failure, and acute pulmonary edema. Phaesalia phaesalis, the Portuguese man of war. This image is from Brazil, but this is the same species in all Atlantic Ocean. Envenomations caused by Portuguese man of war. Note the impression of the tentacle in the skin of the victim. The fiery coral is a deep water hydrozoa that causes envenomations with irregular marks in divers. Next, Linutium giculata. Linutium giculata is a true jellyfish that causes sea baiters eruption in tropical waters. It's a very common dermatitis in Atlantic Ocean and Pacific too. Apelagia noctiluca is the last image, is the most common true jellyfish associated with envenomations in European Atlantic Ocean. It's the great problem of Nigerians in Europe. The Atlantic Ocean box jellyfish, Chiropsalmus quadrumanus, and Tamoya haplonema, and a typical lesions by box jellyfish. I would like that you note the pattern with long lines and crisscrossed marks. This, without doubt, is a sign of gravity, severity. Or if this part can be seen in Portuguese men of war and box jellyfish envenomations. There's some articles that we have published in the topic of Nigerians in the last years. Sea urchins provoked about 50% of 2,163 injuries observed in the last years by the author. Chinometra lecunter, the black sea urchin, is the most important species. You can see the envenomations. The spines of sea urchins are located mainly in plantar regions of the victims. And the extractions of the spikes with fine tweezers, how you can see in this image, is a process developed by our group and reduces the trauma of extraction with large needles. This diver's hand had foramen body granulomas caused by chronic retentions of sea urchin spikes, below, at left. Venomous fish, the most important venomous fish. The most important fact in venomous fish is that there are differences on the composition of diverse venoms of generally species of fish, but the clinical effects are the same, with different levels of severity. Venomous fish causes pain, intense, ischemia, and necrosis. The most important is a new fact. The most important factor is not the thermoregulability of the venom to the treatment, but the vasoconstriction. The vasoconstriction causes the pain, ischemia, and the necrosis. And when you treat envenomation by fish, you can note this fact because the hot water is the great misery of treatment. Catfish, there are various species of catfish of marine and freshwater catfish that causes injuries with envenomations. You can see some cases that you observed in your work. Extracting a catfish, yeah, and it's very common to break the spines, the stinger of the catfish, from problems in surgery posterior. The Greek mythology said that Hercules have lost a finger to sting of a ray. And Pliny the Elder, in his natural history, asserted that the spine was capable of killing trees, piercing armors like an arrow, and corroding iron. The main families of stingrays are those Dasyatidia, Rhinopteridia, Myriopatidia, Gymnuridia, by frequency. São imagens of marine and freshwater stingrays. These European stingrays, Dasyatis pastinaca and Miliobatis aquila, Atlantic Ocean European, and the stingers. The venom is highly neurotoxic, pain, and provokes mild skin necrosis. Local effects is very important. It's not a systemic venom. In thorax and abdominal injuries, there are risks of death. The initial manifestations of stingray envenomations is a typical necrosis with MAPI aspect caused by a necrotic action of the venom. Remember the dry necrosis caused by a Loxosceles spider. And these are chronic manifestations, deep ulcers with poor cicatrization, with frequent secondary bacterial infections. another injuries, envenomations, some works of our group in the dam. Scorpionfish, lionfish, and stonefish was seen in the initial part of the block, but I would like to say something about the scorpionfish of the Atlantic Ocean. The venom causes intense pain in 30 to 90 minutes, the most severe in all aquatic animals in Brazil, local pilings, and adenopathy. Systemic effects. This venom is systemic. Nausea, vomiting, sweating, convulsions, respiratory failure, neurogenic shock due to pain. At the place, you can see necrosis and infections. The black scorpionfish, Scorpiona plumieri. In the top, the red scorpionfish. The injuries, envenomations caused by scorpionfish, not the edema. Some work is in them, and this work shows the evidences of systemic effects of scorpionfish, the venom of scorpionfish. Poisonous fish, the pufferfish is the main fish. The families is Tetrodontidia and Diodontidia. Diodontidia is the spines pufferfishes, not due the spines, they do not cause envenomations. But the great problem is spheroids in the Atlantic, East Atlantic. The tetrodotoxin, or TTX, is thermostable, odorless, colorless, and its action is based in blocking sodium channels and conducted the nervous stimulus along the nerves. Pufferfish stock TTX in ovaries, liver, skin, and muscles. Many animals can store TTX, which is likely produced by bacteria. The manifestations of the poisoning after the ingestion of pufferfish are progressive paralysis. We can lead to death due to the cardiovascular and respiratory failure. The treatment, the most important misery in the treatment, it's the ventilatory support, due to the paralysis. In Japan and Korea, it's very popular, the consumption of pufferfish, and provoke deaths annually. These are works registering envenomations by pufferfish in Brazil, with about 50 deaths, generally in fishermen, not in batters or in houses. This is an algorithm table used by health teams and by Ministry of Health of Brazil to identify the causative aquatic animals and the therapeutic of use in injuries. We developed is possible to identify for the clinical observed and the numbers lab conduct to the first aids treatment for this injury. These pamphlets are part of a work to prevent and treat injuries caused by aquatic animals. It has been applied for over 30 years. It has brought good results, excellent results, to affect communities. And these books are results of this work. This is my school. And I thank everyone for their attention. A reminder that aquatic animals, apart from envenomations, have bioactive compounds that deserve permanent studies. I end with a sentence that few people know, but which is absolutely true. There are more poisonous and venomous fish than reptiles. Thank you very much.